Let's start with last weekend, where County fell to their first defeat in the National League under your tenure. You could sense the frustration in your post-match interview, but now the dust has settled. Is it a case of regrouping and just going again, or did that result highlight some new areas in which the side needs to improve upon?
There's always going to be frustration immediately after a game because we want to win. I suppose what you have to do is reflect on the things that we did well in the game, the things that we can do better in the game. I thought we still had control, and like I say, on reflection, we did enough to get something from the game and did enough to win the game. Probably things didn't go in our favour. Ball didn't bounce the way we needed to at the crossbar a couple of times. Had some decisions that went against us that potentially cost us the game or the opportunity to win the game. But no, it didn't. It didn't highlight things. It just, I suppose, showed where we are, where we need to improve. I think the positive that does come out of it is that, in a strange way, is that we can look at things and probably point out things that we did that potentially didn't give us the best chance of winning. So it was our mistakes that Torquay sort of took advantage of that cost us the game, rather than anything in particular they did to force their mistakes. They were really basic stuff. So what we've got to do is cut that out. I think you look at the goals we have conceded over the sort of recent past. They've been mistakes. Goals notoriously are going to be from mistakes, but I think we can have a real impact on that, and we'll look to like I say, make sure we're better in that area.
The schedule leading up to that defeat had been fairly full on, especially towards the latter stages of November. You were keen to point out, though, that any talk of fatigue was an excuse and that you can always control certain factors of a game. What are those variables that you can always control going into a fixture?
I think you can overlook or overanalyse certain things. Listen, we've come into the club and changed the way things have been done. I think we've asked questions of the players in terms of whether they're able to perform at a level. They've shown they can. What you have to do is make sure you stick to those levels. If we were looking at potentially playing games or lots of games in a short period of time, you can potentially use that. I think we had a sort of 8-day lead into the Torquay game. Now, yes, you've got the travel and you've got all those other different logistics that are part and parcel of this league. It's very southern based, if you like, in terms of balance, but that can't be, like I say, an excuse. We have to find a way, regardless of whether it's playing at home or travelling the length of the country to go and get 3 points away from home. We didn't do that. So you have to learn lessons from it. But I suppose fresh in the knowledge that over the next 5 weeks, normally the scheduling's pretty brutal. We play obviously 2 games in 2 days over Christmas period, but outside of that, with the Chesterfield game now being called off, the FA Trophy sort of kicking in, we've got a pretty routine sort of schedule. We've got to use that time really positively to try and get the players and keep the players moving forward to be able to carry out the demands that we think are going to be required in order for us to be a successful team in this division.
Just looking ahead to this weekend and the FA Trophy, does this provide you with an opportunity to perhaps have a change in personnel in some areas, or give some of the players on the fringes of the squad an opportunity to showcase what they can do?
It does, but it does alongside the fact that we still want to win the game. I've said in my programme notes for the game, I've been to Wembley and won this competition, and certainly this competition provides the best opportunity that clubs at this level will have to play in a Wembley Cup final. That's a long way down the line, and I suppose as the competition progresses, then it becomes slightly further up people's agenda. But ultimately for us, we want to win the game, and whether that's by not making any changes, whether it's by making 1 or 2 changes, the people that are coming in will back themselves to play in this team consistently in the National League. So there'll be plenty of motivated players, motivated for the ones who played last week and want to right any wrongs, motivated for ones that maybe haven't had an opportunity, want to step in, and a motivated group of players that want to bounce back, and at the end of one run has to become a start of another one for us. So we'll do everything we can to win the game, hopefully progress, and see where the competition takes us as we move forward.
So even having enjoyed some special moments in this year's FA Cup and both sides been on the cusp of those playoff spaces, there's still no less of emphasis to progress in this particular tournament then?
No, absolutely not. Listen, I think you'd say exactly the same for Grimsby if we were posed a question that says what's the most important, the National League or the FA Trophy, then both teams and both clubs would say the National League without question. But like I say, this competition is one that provides big opportunities, whether that's opportunities for players, whether that's opportunities for clubs, whether that's opportunities for supporters to go and follow their team, and an opportunity to, at the end of it, potentially walk up the steps and pick up a trophy at Wembley. And for every young footballer and person that's involved in football, there's no greater experience than that. Like I say, I've been there, I'd love to experience it again. That's a little bit further down the line, but I don't see any reason why, with the squad we have, that we can't prioritise, certainly at this point, both competitions and go into Saturday's game looking to perform and looking to win.
Grimsby come into this tie winning just one of the last 8. The local press has been reporting that they could potentially use this fixture as an opportunity to experiment on something completely different setup-wise. What threats do you already know that they pose, however?
Yeah, they started the season really brightly, and as everybody, I suppose, potentially will do, I've had a little bit of a wobble. Came into the league as the new boys, if you like, having come down from the Football League. So teams probably take a little bit of time to get used to what they're doing. I know they've mixed a little bit with systems in terms of I've played a 4-diamond-2 to start with. I've played a back 3. I've played a back 4 throughout the last 4 games. So they can mix it up. The personnel within that largely stays the same. So we know what their threats are. They'll undoubtedly know what our threats are. Whether it's match systems, and I've said before about systems are what they are. It's what you do in possession and out of possession, and they can be completely different in terms of how you look to set up. But they'll be, I'm sure, as much as it's an opportunity for them to potentially experiment, they ultimately need a catalyst to kick-start them. So they'll, as much as we do, they'll want to win the game. They'll be coming to, I suppose, put in a performance similar as they did earlier in the season, and get a positive result that helps them, I suppose, get their league programme going again.
Just finally, in regards to any injuries, is there anything of note going into this one?
We've got little bits. So again, in terms of, we won't risk anybody that's carrying anything, and we've used the opportunity this week to try and take the load off a couple. Alex Reid obviously had been out with a procedure he had on his toe and missed training for 7 to 10 days or so, and comes back into the fold. Was involved at the weekend. John Rooney, again, through a sort of long running ankle problem, we've taken him off the grass and tried to get him back. So he's seeing a specialist today. Hopefully we'll get the all clear to potentially be back out on the grass early next week. Apart from those 2, we've obviously Ben Whitfield that's out long term. Ben's been back around the building this week, which has been great for him and great for all the lads to see him. But we're in a decent place. We've got huge competition within the squad. We've got a really motivated group of players that all want to do well, and that makes it a tough team selection at times. So we will look at things. There will be some changes, but there'll certainly not be wholesale changes, and the squad that we put out will be a really strong one.
Dave, thanks for your time and all the best.
Cheers, thank you.